few of you. That's great to see you all. I'm just looking at your names.
So exciting. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Raghav. Hello, Stephanie. Sirat, if you could all turn on your webcam, that'd be fantastic because it's going to be an interactive session. So it'd be great to see you and to see your faces. Wonderful. Great.
Yay. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Samuel. Hello, Hope. Theo, wonderful to see you all. Isabella, hello. We have more and more people joining. Hello, with a beautiful background. Excellent. Great. Sirat, hi. Sophia, Fern, Giovanni, if you could all turn on your webcam, that'd be great because it's like you're in the room with us. So we want to see you and feel like it's a, you know, a real room with all of you. Fantastic. Great. So we're expecting up to 60, 65 people today. So some of the participants might be, it might be in the middle of the night for them. So they might all be here with us, but I think we can expect a few more to join. Great, welcome. See, Alina is just joining. Hello, Alina. Emily, Gustavo, I've heard that you were here early. Hello, Gustavo. On your webcam, that'd be fantastic. Hello, Ahad, sorry if I mispronounce your names. Right, so it's already 2:07 in Singapore. And I think we can start in a very short while because I've got quite a lot of material and we have a lot of discussions ahead. So
Fantastic.
It'd be great to start not too late.
Amazing. Let's get started. I'll keep my eye on the waiting room to see if anyone else is waiting to come in. Oh my gosh, so exciting, everyone. So great to see you. How cool is this? I love that all of your cameras are on and that we get to interact. You know, you would have participated in, hopefully, lots of webinars and workshops that we've been on this journey with TGCC this year, but this one's really special because Marie Lau is a professional in interactive workshops, and it's going to be so much fun. We're super lucky to have her with us today. So Marie Lau, she's an adjunct, she's a member of the adjunct faculty at ESSEC Business School. She's the director of a Singapore-based training company, The Human Factor. She is a board member of Big Bloom, which is a global social innovation initiative. She has over 20 years of experience in working in Asia Pacific, and she is a co-active coach. She has her MSc from the London School of Economics and is a CFA chart holder and a certified professional. So guys, we are absolutely in luck to have Professor Kaye with us today. She will be leading us in how to successfully work on remote teams, very important. The business model canvas, and she just couldn't help herself and added in the value proposition canvas. So we are super lucky. We've got an extra treat in there. So I just wanted to say really quickly, guys, congratulations. This workshop is exclusively for the regional finalists from TGCC 2020. The competition was amazing. What a great job. You guys have done absolutely fantastic. So first off, congratulations. You guys all should be very proud of yourselves. So, as you would know, there's the top 2 teams from every region that are preparing for the global finals. So next Thursday, October 8th, the global case is released, and the teams, the 12 teams, 2 teams from each region around the world, will have 48 hours to crack the case. So after those 48 hours, they submit their solutions, and then we'll present about 24 hours after they submit. So very exciting, guys. I know this workshop is going to help everybody, and especially those competitors that are still on the road to the global finals. So I will turn it over now to Marie Lau Kaye, and enjoy, guys.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you very much. So it's an honor to be here with all of you today. I'm really excited. I feel super privileged to be here and to help all of you at this stage of the competition, really. So my name is Marie Lau Kaye. You can call me Marie. I know it's, Marie Lau is a bit of a complicated, it's French. So Marie is just great. I'm based in Singapore. I've been based in Singapore for about 17 years, actually 18 now. In Asia for, you know, more than 20, 23, 25, a lot, basically a very long time. And so I've been conducting online workshops this year, even more than before. I mean, you know why, and I started doing online workshops last year. I've been facilitating courses and teaching lots of different groups of students at ESSEC Business Schools, master's students, bachelor students, for over 10 years now. So quite a long time. All right, so today I'd like first to congratulate you because you've reached this stage of the competition. And from what I've heard, it's quite intense, right? So congratulations, and congratulations for just making this choice of joining this competition, because you've decided to stretch yourself, you've decided to get out of your comfort zone, you've decided to learn in a different kind of way, learning by doing, learning through a case, and that's one of the best ways to learn. So congratulations and welcome. So I'd like to know a little bit more about yourself, and I have one request before we start. First, if you could all turn on your webcam. I know some of you might not feel comfortable, but at least I feel like I'm seeing you and you're seeing me. And so we can, like, I can speak to you, you know, one-to-one, and I'd like to do that as much as possible, because it's not just going to be about me telling you a lot of things today. It's also going to be about you, you know, using your knowledge and sharing ideas. So I really want to optimize this as much as possible. So I'd like to hear about you, and I'd like you to just type in the chat box and tell me where you are now. What's your location? I'm curious. I'd like to know where you are. Where are you based? Just so that I know where, you know, who I'm talking. Melbourne. Hey, wonderful. My husband is from Melbourne. Yeah. Dubai. Great. Brazil. Taiwan. Hong Kong. Philippines. Taiwan. New Delhi in India. Dubai. Excellent. A few more? Okay, quite a few in Dubai and Singapore. Wonderful. Okay, great. So we have the world with us today. Fantastic. Good. So today we have quite a full program. As Kerry said, I couldn't help myself adding more material because I think that will be extremely valuable for you. So the point here is really to give you a few tools that I think will be, you know, helping you along this last leg of your process. So I'm going to share quite a number of slides with you. Can you see it? Can you see the slides? Is that okay? Right. So let's look at the agenda. So the agenda is as follows. We're going to start by looking at working on a remote team, because you're all working remotely, and we'll look at some ground rules, how to divide responsibilities among team members, and I'll give you some recommendations for virtual team meetings. Then we'll look at the business model canvas. We'll start with an overview, then we'll look at the different sections of the business model canvas. I've introduced, or I've included some case study, and we'll look at that as well. I'm just looking for my spotlight so that I can just highlight the different sections. Oh, here it is. And then we'll look at the value proposition canvas, which is a canvas that complements the business model canvas. But let's start with working on a remote team. So when you see this, right, it's like a Zoom meeting, okay? What does that evoke to you? Can you type in the chat box, what does a Zoom meeting evoke to you? What's your experience with it? Okay, let me read the chat box. Chaos. All right. Chaos with Stephanie, good. What else? Crowd. Sometimes it's crowded. A new efficient way of communication. Okay, of communicating, yeah, okay. What else? A bit tiring at times. It is tiring, that's very true. It's been shown to be cognitively more demanding. Connection issues, a necessity. Some people are quarreling, talking over each one another, yes. Connecting without effort. Okay, great, thank you so much. So it's a mix of positive and negative. Great, fantastic, thank you for your answer. So let's look at basically a few recommendations. So we'll look at the ground rules first. So when you work in a room on a remote team, I would say the first thing to consider is the tools that you will use to communicate with each other. That sounds simple, but agreeing on that right from the beginning is essential. Are you going to set up a WhatsApp group? Are you going to communicate by email? Because we're talking not just meeting over Zoom or another platform, but all the different tools that are available to you. Are you going to communicate by SMS? So to agree on the main channel of communication upfront is necessary. For example, when I work on a project, we always set up a WhatsApp group. It sounds simple, but that's a way to do this. Also, when you have a Zoom meeting like this, as a team, we always set up a WhatsApp group so that we can have a separate communication channel, right? So if you present next week, right, set up a WhatsApp group so that if you need to communicate with one another, you can do that on a different channel, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is the tools that you will use to manage the case, right? You'll have the case, the reveal next week on Thursday. Of course, you have probably a Google Drive, you have some files, but which files are you going to use? How are you going to manage them? How are you going to ensure that everyone has access to them? How are you going to name them so that everybody finds the files very easily? Again, that's simple, but in a lot of projects, in real projects, for consulting firms, this is something that we agree on at the beginning. Why? Because if you don't have a form of, if you don't have a systematic way to do that, then after a few days, 1 week and so on, then it can become quite messy, right? So that's the next thing. Next point, how will you communicate with one another? So if you've worked together already, that's maybe something that's established, but what is acceptable? What is the tone that you will want to use with each other? What is not acceptable? What kind of comment is not acceptable, for example? So to define this again at the beginning will help you through the process. Another thing is the frequency of updates and communication. So next week, you won't have much time, right? You will have 48 hours to deliver. So you'll probably be on the case for 48 hours, pretty much nonstop, right? It's like not a choice. But in a longer project, I would recommend to agree on what's the frequency of updates. Do you check in with one another once a week, every 2 days? And when someone, for example, asks for comments or sends an update, what's the timeline? How long do you allow for the other team members to respond and to send their comments? Again, that's another thing that's really important. Another point that I think will be quite critical for you next week is how will you make decisions? This is a big one. And this is a big one that I would recommend that you address before you receive the case next week. Why? Because you might have different ideas. You might have different perception about what's the key ideas that you want to propose, or how to proceed with research, or how to maybe interview people or check your hypothesis, right? So how are you going to make decisions? And how are you going to deal with differences and setbacks if you're facing setbacks? So to think of this decision-making process, to think of how are you going to proceed? Are you going to proceed with votes? Or is the team leader going to make the decision, right? So it's better to agree beforehand on how you're going to resolve that. I've seen many teams over the years who don't decide beforehand how they will make the decisions. And I've coached many hackathons, hackathons where they have to, like 24 hours, 48 hours to deliver an answer, to deliver and sometimes the team members disagree. And if they've decided beforehand how they will resolve the differences, that's essential. So think about it. Think about potential problems over the course of your project. Two other things that are really critical here is how will you support one another? and who will be the team leader. Again, I've seen teams, over hackathons, over a short period of times, like 48 hours, 24 hours, who go through ups and downs, and that's perfectly normal. When you work on a project over a very short period of time, you might feel elated at some point, and then you might hit a roadblock. If that's the case, how are you going to behave? How are you going to support one another, right? Are you going to be disappointed, be depressed, or are you going to encourage each other? Remain positive through this process. So again, that's something that I believe is critical. The last point is who will be the team leader. Maybe you've chosen a team leader in the previous rounds. Maybe you haven't. I recommend to choose or to identify a team leader, right? You have 48 hours. Maybe the team leaders cannot really change over the course of those 48 hours, but just to make sure that everyone participates, everyone remains engaged, that the work is allocated fairly and equally, right? And to support team members who might feel a little bit more down at some point over the process. So selecting a team leader, I think, is quite recommended, right? And just a picture here that's quite famous. You might already have seen this. Have you seen this before? Can you type in the chat box? Have you seen this picture before? No? Yes, Thomas. Thomas, what does that mean? Can you turn on your mic? What does that mean, this picture?
It's all about like what a leader should be is someone not just issuing directions, but very much leading by example and being
Yeah,
at the forefront.
at being, yeah, but also making ensuring that the landscape is clear, facilitating the work of everybody else. So it's not somebody who tells others, it's somebody who is there for others. So that's a different perspective on the role of the leader. You're here for others, others are not there for you. So it's a bit of a shift, right? Do you have any questions so far on the first slide that I showed you? Any questions, any comments? Here. Is that okay for you so far? We're addressing the simpler stuff, yeah? I see some of you are nodding their head. All good so far? Can we continue? Can we continue? Yes? Excellent. Great. So we're going to look now at working on a remote team and ensuring that you divide responsibilities amongst your team members, especially next week. Remember, you're going to have a very short amount of time, 48 hours. So once the topic of the case is revealed, make sure you do this. Understand each team member's skills and experience and how they relate to the case, right? Does anybody in your team have special knowledge, specific experience that could help or that could add a specific or even more value to the work of the team, right? Consider their hobby, for example. What is their hobby? Is it related to the case? Have they experienced this before? Can they bring a unique perspective? So that's one thing you can consider. Look also at team members' preferences, right? Maybe some of you are great with design. Others might be great with, numbers. Others might be great with looking for information or doing interviews. Or maybe some of you are great speakers and you might want to present. So once you are in a team, at the beginning, again, identify the preferences so that people can focus on what they like. And that's to ensure that they will, you will optimize the value that each member brings to the team, and you can divide the tasks and the responsibilities accordingly, right? I've seen it, and again, I've coached so many hackathons, and the teams that do that right from the beginning usually perform better and deliver better results, right? So to allocate the work, I've just drawn this chart quickly. So you can see here, you have a table. Oops, I'm just looking for my spotlight. Right. So you have, that's the next slide, sorry. So this is the table. You have your main issues and your sub issues here. So this is a way you can present your analysis, right? So this is the different analysis you have to perform. What will be your data sources? What will be your end product, right? I know when you had a presentation with Benjamin last week or a couple of weeks ago, he told you, you know, the kind of charts or graphs that are best, right, to use for different types of outputs. Then specify them here in your end product. Visualize before you start working. What's going to be your output? What are going to be your data sources to support your analysis, right? And who is going to be responsible for what? So allocate responsibilities right from the beginning. You can do it with a table, simple table like this, but it has to be, it should be like one of the things you do within the first 3 or 4 hours of your project. After you've defined, you know, what is my main issues? What are my key sub issues? Then ideate as much as possible. And after that, you know, when we identify the kind of research that analysis that you need to perform, then draw a table like that, you know, identify the data sources or the type of data sources, what it would look like at the end, and who will be responsible for the output. Any questions on this table? Anyone? I can see all of you here. Do you have any questions? I can see your beautiful smiles. Shaking your head, okay? All right, so let's go now to the next one. A few recommendations on working on a remote team. First one, be punctual, right? So that's kind of the first marker of respect for other team members, especially when you work on teams over such a short period of time. If you can't make it on time, which happens, you know, sometimes life happens. You have something that you can't really plan, but inform other team members. So that's the first. Second thing, be positive, okay? You will have to be creative to crack the case, right? And everybody is creative. You all have this ability. To be creative, you need to have fun. It needs to be, you know, you need to be in a good frame of mind. So be as positive as possible. And I will add one thing. You are responsible for the energy that you bring in a meeting, right? So creativity, fun is all part of the process, okay? So you don't have to suffer to produce great things. On the contrary, the more fun you have, the more creative you will be and the better your output. Any comments on that, on being positive? Actually, I have a question for you here. When was the time? Can you all think back of a time when you were super creative? Can you all do that? A time when you were super creative. Can you all think of that? Can you type your answer in the chat box? I'm curious, you know, just if you recall a time when you were very creative. When was that? A recent experience. Raghav says, music composition a few months ago. Fantastic, great. What else? Some of you are typing. What else? Combining electric guitar and orchestra. Okay, another musician. Cool. Problem solving for speech competition. Okay, I do art. Yes, exciting. Improvising with my string quartet. Great, so we have a couple of musicians here. Very good. So maybe Stephanie, can you turn on your mic?
Hi.
Hi, Stephanie. Where are you, Stephanie? Hello.
Hi.
So, hello, Stephanie. So can you tell us, what's your frame of mind when you're very creative?
Frame of mind. I don't know, you just kind of step back from things and you have to like you can't be creative when you're trying too hard to be creative. It's really
Mhm.
weird. You have to, or at least for
Mm.
music, I found you just kind of have to let your mind kind of go to any possibility until you find something that, like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a good idea, and then you go with it.
fantastic. Good. So I hear letting go and trusting the process as well, right?
Yeah, and not immediately dismissing everything, like anything that sounds bizarre. You don't just dismiss it straight away. Just think about it
Mm,
for a bit, and it might work. Maybe it might not as well. So
excellent. I love it. I love it. So to be able to let go, remain open, right, to whatever comes, and not, suspend judgment as well of the ideas that everybody is going to be proposing. Is that what I hear? Very good. Excellent. Great. So that's linked to being positive, and that's linked to a few other points that I have for you just now. So let's have a look. So one thing for meetings, it's not related to what you just said, but agreeing on the objectives for each meeting. Here you will have to because you have a short period of time, but here, making sure that everyone contributes, right? Because as you said, being open and being open to everyone's ideas is really important because everybody has something to say and you can all be creative. So believe that every single one of you can be creative, and to ensure that everybody's creativity can contribute to the project, listen to each other. Listen and encourage everybody else's ideas. I mean, everybody else to contribute their ideas, right? So never kill anyone's ideas, especially at the beginning. You want to say, hey, that's great. Let's, what else? And to be super encouraging so that you come up with as many ideas as possible. Selection can come afterwards, but make sure that you listen to each other. And to do that, be fully present. So some of you might be listening to me, checking maybe WhatsApp, checking the email, checking Instagram, checking TikTok, doing something else. That's not being fully present, right? And I'm sure you think, no problem, I can do it. I can listen to you, I can do my thing on my phone, I can do something on my other screen, and I can, even do something else with my friends. No, you can't, right? No, that's not possible. You believe you can, but your attention is divided. So to be fully present to each other, to what everybody else is say and create, you have to avoid multitasking. Switch off your notifications, right? So turn them off on your phone, on your screen, be fully with one another, right? Of course, specify each team member's responsibilities. We've seen this before, but I think this is important also during a team meeting. And another thing is ensure accountability. So you're a small team, and when you're a small team and have to deliver something within just a short period of time, 48 hours, everybody has to carry their loads, right? Everybody has to deliver. So if you're the team leader, check in with one another on a regular basis to make sure that everybody is on track, right? Is that okay? Do you have any questions for this first part? Any questions? Hello, hello? No? So what I'd like you to type in the chat box, right, is out of all the different points that I've mentioned so far, what are the 2 or 3 that you think you want to take away? Because I don't expect you to remember all the different lists, right? But 1 or 2 points that could be most useful for you. Could you please type this in the chat box? Avoid multitasking and switching off the notifications. Good. Agree on objectives? Yes. Good. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Had. Be positive. Yes. Avoid multitasking. Great. Specifying the responsibility. Agree on objective. Don't be too critical. Yes. That's probably one of the most important things, Yeah, be punctual, making sure everybody contributes. Yes. And what I do when I have small groups that I facilitate, you know, then that's something that the team leader can do, is to go around the virtual table and ask every single person, one after the other, what do you think? You know, what's your perspective? Okay. And Sirat sent me, it's not ready to cooperate. Oh, if one member is not ready to cooperate, that's a good point. Then, I mean, there could be different reasons, and that's a very good question. Maybe the person is a little, you know, shy or unsure. So what I do to bring in everybody in is, once you have like a question or something to solve, I will say, okay, you all have like 4 or 5 minutes to put your ideas on paper. So I time it and I give everybody 5 minutes, right? Then what I say is, like, after 5 minutes, I say, okay, we'll go around the table and I'll ask everyone to share his or her ideas. So in that way, no one can hide or no one is left behind. Then we can hear everybody. That's one thing. So that's one way you can ensure that everybody's ideas at least has a chance to be voiced, right? If the person is not actively participating or maybe is too shy, then you can have a private chat with the person. You know, try to understand what's going on, how you can help the person, and what the person needs, right? If you're the team leader, it's your responsibility to ask, if someone is not fully present or fully active, what is going on, you know? So before you become judgmental and then criticize, pause, ask the question, what's going on? Maybe this person has a personal problem, or maybe they're not comfortable with the topic, right? Or maybe they're scared. There might be different reasons. So pause, ask questions, and ask how you can help and how the team can move forward in the best, in the most constructive and supportive way as possible. Okay? Yeah? Am I answering your question, Sirat? Is that all right? Yeah? Thank you so much. Good. Before we move to the next topic, do you have any comments? Any questions here? No? Can I move on?
I've got a quick question.
Sure. Who is it?
This is Thomas.
Hi, Thomas. Yes.
So do you think a team can effectively operate, like in all of your years of experience, do you think a team can effectively operate without a specific team leader, or do you think it's just a very, very important structure?
It can. It's not like it can't, you know, it can operate without a team leader. I think with the team leader, it ensures, I mean, there is someone who makes sure, who is responsible for ensuring that everybody is kind of engaged, everybody participates, and also that the workload is fairly distributed, right? So especially when you have such a short period of time, I would recommend you do that. That's my personal experience. Like when when we have hackathons, they don't have a team leader because I'm the coach and I facilitate the process. So in a way, I'm the one who is responsible to make sure that everybody participates and the roles are clear. And we define, you know, who is going to work on research, who is going to work on design, who is going to pitch, who is going to make sure assemble all the different parts of the presentation. If you don't have a coach and that's not your case, then yes, have a team leader. That's what we do at ESSEC, for example. At ESSEC, we have a lot of learning by doing, a lot of real consulting projects for actual companies. And we ask the team to nominate a team leader, because that's also the person who is going to be maybe the one who is going to interact with faculty. So we have one person, we don't have like lots of people who are going to communicate with us because it can become chaotic, right? We mentioned chaotic before, that's when it can become chaotic. So we have one person who talks in the name of the team. So for me, I think that helps make the process a lot cleaner and more structured. Have I answered your question, Thomas?
Yes, thank you.
Yes? Do you have any other questions, anyone? No? Can I have a thumb up to continue? Yes, fantastic. Good. So we'll go now to the business model canvas. All right. Who has heard about it? Who has heard about this canvas before? Can you answer in the chat box? Have you heard about it? Never. Okay. No? 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 Nope, nope, nope. Okay, great. Well, that's good. So you're going to learn something. Fantastic. Good. So we're going to start with an overview. And I'm going to start slowly. And to define what a business model is, right? So according to you, what's a business model? What is the business model? Can you answer in the chat box, please? What's a business model? I know you, I see you, you're thinking, you're like, what is she asking us this question? What's a business model? If you're unsure, that's okay. You want me to answer this? A way for a business to operate? Yeah, good. A plan on how the business is going to work? Okay, good. That's part of the answer. Very good. Anything else? It's a diagram. Okay, that shows how the business operates. Yes. Okay, good. So it shows how the business operates, true. It shows how a business will create value while delivering products or services for customers, right? So I'd like you to keep in mind this concept of value, right? You offer value to your customers. And this concept of value should always remain prominent when you look at a business case, right? That's the main driving element, right? So that's the business model. And it will also tell us how the key drivers, how the key elements of your business fit together so that the business can deliver products and services and the business model can work. So now, how to visualize this business model? Because typically we have a business model that's written, on a document that's thick, that's not very easy to visualize. So we have a tool for that, to visualize a business model. That's a business model canvas. So that will show you in just one piece of paper all the different pieces of your business, right? So it's very straightforward, and I'll show you in a minute what it looks like, but that's a visual diagram, right? It's something that's quite powerful and that you can use for existing business model to understand how they deliver values to their existing customers or potential customers, and also to test, to assess, and to design new business model. So let's look at what it is. So this is it. This is your business model canvas. So you see, quite simple, right? You have nine sections, right? And most businesses can use it, from the startup to the large company, from existing business model to new business models that haven't been created yet, right? So you can use that. So as you can see, it's easy to understand. So it's on one single page. It's very visual, first thing. It's very focused because you don't have a lot of space. So it forces you to focus on what's really important. It's also flexible because the way you use it typically with Post-its, and that are color coded, right? So you can remove, add Post-its. So it's very flexible and it can be changed, and things can be added, removed quite easily. It's customer focused. You see here you have customer relationship, value propositions to customers. What are your customer segments? So it forces you to really look at what you offer to your customers, right? And how you're going to offer that, with the channels and the key activities, key partners, and key resources. It shows the connections as well between the different elements, and to make sure that everything is aligned, consistent, and goes in the same direction. And of course, because it's so simple and visually easy to understand, it's easy to use for communication purposes, right? So that's the tool. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go through the model and give you a few examples. So by the way, here the source is Strategizer. It's the company of Alexander Osterwalder, who created the business model Canvas in 2004. So if you go to this website, don't do it now, don't multitask, please. Then you will be able to see quite a lot of resources. Stay with us, please, stay present. Okay, good, thank you. All right, so let's look at the different sections. So the first one, the middle one, here is the value proposition, right? So that's what we're going to start with. Then I'm just introducing the main section here. So value proposition in the middle. Next, we have on the right, customer relationship, customer segments, and channel. And those are the elements that generate revenue. Then on the left, we have key partners, key resources, key activities, key partners. Those are the elements that represent costs. And here at the bottom, we have the finances. We have the cost and the revenue. So as you see, center, right, left, bottom. So let's go through each one of them. So we'll go first through the value proposition. So the value proposition, the key question that it answers is, why would customers buy from the business? Why do they buy? You know, and remember, the customers are not there to buy products and services. It's the services and the products that exist to serve the customers, to solve a problem that they might have, or to answer a need that they might have, right? So the customers don't care about the technology. The customers care about what they get, you know, how it will add value to their lives. That's what they care about, right? So that's, I told you, the value is critical and should remain at the center, like it is here, of your case cracking or the solution that you will propose. So here, the value proposition presents the range of products and services that the business offers to meet its customers' needs. So the need can be, for example, entertainment, communication, you know, that could be a need, or to solve a problem, right? I might have a, you know, I might have a problem with my accounting, right? So I might need a solution for that. Or I might have a problem with writing documents. So I might need a better word processing software for that, right? So needs and problem are at the core here, right? Also, this value proposition will help your business distinguish itself from the competitors. So how is your business? How is the products, the services that you offer? How unique are they? How different are they from the products and services offered by the competition, right? So that is what makes a value proposition unique. And this value proposition can be made unique through maybe the performance of the products or services, the design, the brand, the status, the price, right? The convenience. So there's different ways that the value proposition can be unique, or it can be a mix of different things as well. Is that clear for all of you before I ask you another question? The value proposition, is that okay? So I have this here, the value proposition. So I've used the case of Toyota. Why? Because I know that for the how to crack a case, the professors already used the automobile industry as an example. We'll use another case study afterwards, TikTok, but just for illustrative purposes here, let's look at an example that all of you know, right? Cars, right? And this particular type of car. So if we look at this type of car, you see here, so this is actually a picture that I took from their website, right? It's quite current. What do you think is the value proposition here of Toyota? To customers. Look at the cars, look at the picture. What does Toyota offers to its customers? I don't see any answers coming. Yeah, affordable hybrid cars. Yes, it's not just hybrid, but affordable cars. Yeah, okay. Reliable, absolutely, very good. Reasonable price, a color range, yeah. Some are eco-friendly, a car that looks nice, that is sleek, yeah, very good. So it's relatively, it's affordable, it's stylish, very good. It's for families, so it's for a mass market, excellent. And also something that's efficient, right? Great efficiency, good, great. So you see, you've already defined the value proposition for Toyota, beautiful, good. And it's something that maybe for your case, that's something you might want to articulate as well next week. I don't know, but that's something to keep in mind. Huh? All right, ready to move to the next segment? So that's the customer segments. So the customer segments, as you see here, is on the right and at this. So I'm presenting you the different sections of the business model canvas in the sequence that they're usually presented. There's kind of a norm for that. So I'm presenting you the different sections in the traditional way, if you want. So the customer segments. So we're talking about customers. So let's look at the key question. So who are the customers? You know, who are my most important customers? What are the characteristics, right? Who are they? Who am I serving? Who am I providing value to? So here, the business, of course, needs to identify its main customers, right? And we'll look at it later on. It can do this through the use of personas. So a persona identifies the main archetypes of customers. So we'll look at it a little bit later. Next is, what are the key characteristics of those different types of customers? You know, where do they live? What age group do they belong to? What's their gender? What's their social group? What are their preferences? So to look at their key characteristics. And why? Because you want to make sure that the products and the services that you offer, their attributes will meet the needs of your customers or will solve the problems of the customers. So you need to understand your customers first. So far, so good here? Okay. So let's go back to our example of Toyota. So what are the customer segments here? Or who are the customers? Who do you think they are, the customers of Toyota? Who are they? Middle class families? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. With families with 2 or 3 children? Yeah, okay. Middle income? Okay. Working groups, I accept that. What are they looking for? What are these people looking for in a car? Suburban? Yeah, absolutely, because they might typically use the car on a regular basis. They want safe transportation? Absolutely. Private car, reasonable price? Yes. Something that's comfortable, affordable, safe? Good, very good. Excellent. Anything else? Something that's a good commute? Yes. Value for money, low cost of operation? Yes, and something that's reliable, as you said earlier. Very good, excellent. I don't have anything else to add. That's perfect. Right, so you see how you can understand customer segments. Good. Let's look at channels now, which is the third element on the right. So channels here, the main question to answer is, how will you get your products and services to your customers, and how will they buy them, or how will you sell them, if you look at the problem from a different angle. So here, you know, what works best to get your products and services to your customers, right? So you can use different channels. You can use your own channels, right? You can use, for example, your own stores, or you can partner, right? Or you can have, distributors, for example. You can have a combination of both. You can have your own stores, or you can have distributors, right? So it can be a mix. Before the 1990s, everything was physical also, So you had brick and mortars, everything was, concrete. Now we have physical channels and digital channels. And most physical channels also have a digital component. So it's a mix of both. So what you want to have here is to want to have channels that are fast, efficient, and cost effective, right? So those are the channels. So looking back at your example of Toyota here, so how do they get their cars to the customers? What are their channels? How do they sell them? What do you think? Can you write your answers down in the chat box, please? Do you think they can have their own car dealerships if they sell directly? They can have distributors, good. Maybe online preview to attract the clients, very good. Very great idea. Great idea, okay. Regional distributors, yes. Auto shows, excellent. Online advertisements, we're waiting for that, very good. Expos, yeah, so you see already there's a mix of physical channels, your own channels, channels with different types of partners, there's digital channels, so there's a mix here. Expos, beautiful. Okay, good. Great, I love your answers. So we finished with the box on the right. Do you have any questions here? Any questions for the boxes on the right? Actually, we have one missing. Actually, I forgot the last one. Sorry. The customer relationships. Sorry. So the key question here, there's three main things. How do you get customers? How do you keep your customers? And how do you grow them, right? So first of all, how do you get customers? How your customers are going to learn about your business and make their first purchase decision, right? How are they going to know? And then once they know and they make their first purchase, how are you going to keep them? Through excellent customer service, for example, that's the way to do that, but there might be other ways. And then how do you grow them, right? How do you get customers to spend more into your business? Because as you know, it's always the best way for growth. Once you have customers, it's better to get more money out of your existing customers rather than to look for new or to acquire new customers. It's more expensive to acquire new customers than to grow the wallet, if you want, of every existing customer here, okay? So it's all about what are those relationships? What are the existing relationships? How do you nurture them? How do you develop them? How do you grow them? So let's look at our Toyota, right? Let's look at how do they grow customers? How do they keep customers? How do they keep their customers? Let's focus on that. Can you type your answers? How do they keep their customers? How would they keep their customers? How do they keep their customers? If you have a car, if you own a car, how will you remain loyal, if you want, to Toyota? If you own a reliable and good service, very good. After sales maintenance, yes, you want to have great maintenance. What else? What else do you want? If you own a car, loyalty program, okay, good. Word of mouth, yes. Upgrades, special offers, very good. Offering prices off, okay, some discounts, okay. Good. And feedback acceptance, you're good, yes. Great. The only thing that I would add would probably be an efficient call center. If there's any problem, you want to be, your problem to be addressed super quickly. and efficiently and nicely, right? Good. So we're finished now with the middle value proposition, with the right. And we're going now to move to the left of the business model canvas. Any questions on the right on how you will serve customers? So it's all linked to basically how do you make money out of your business, because you need customers, you need to have channels to get your products and services to them, and you need to have great customer relationships. Do you have any questions on that? Do you see how valuable it can be for a case to know this? You see how to identify some of the key questions you might have to ask for a business case. All right, let's look at the resources now, at the key resources. So we are going to focus first on, what they are and the key questions. So the first key question is, what are the key resources that are needed to create value? So you see the word value comes back again and again, right? And what assets are most important to make the business model work? And remember that a business does not have to do everything itself. It will have to have, and we'll see afterwards with the key activities and the key partners, but keep that in mind. So what are the key resources? You might need physical resources. You might need a manufacturing plant. You might need some machines. You might need some vehicles. You might need some intellectual resources. So maybe you have some special knowledge, some special customer lists, some special a brand as well as part of your this intellectual property. You might need human resources like engineers, designers, scientists, right? And how do you keep those resources once they start working for you? And last, of course, the money. And by the way, when you crack a case, never forget the money. If I can give you, like, write a $sign, what I've seen in a lot of business cases, students forget the financials. Do not forget the financials, okay? So here the finances for a business model is, how much money do you need, right? How are you going to obtain it? How are you going to, do you need to raise money? Do you need credit from your bank? How are you going to make sure that you have enough money to operate your business, right? All right. So let's look at the key resources. So maybe let's focus on the human capital, right? For Toyota. What kind of human capital do they need? Toyota. Sales, yes. Thank you, Isabella. Very good. What else? So they need the good sales engineers and R&D. Absolutely. Anything else? Manufacturers, salespeople, call centers, strategic management. Fantastic, good. And you could argue that, and quality inspections, yes, 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 yes. Because safety is probably the main thing for automotive industry. You know, I'm working now with a company that builds elevators, right? And escalators. It doesn't sound so sexy, but it's actually super interesting because it's all about, you know, people mobility, how people move in a building, how people move in a CBD, right? And I attend lots of the leadership team meetings in the region. And the first item on every leadership team is safety. We start with an update on safety. I'm not working with an automotive company, but I believe, you know, when I've been reading things on Toyota, the first thing it's always mentioned or often mentioned is safety. That's the main criteria, I think, for this kind of product, right? All right. So let's look at the key activities. So what I told you before, the company doesn't have to do everything itself, right? But it needs to be super good at some key activities, right? Because that will support its value proposition. That will make sure that it can deliver the promises to the customers, right? So when we look at this key activity, the business has to be an expert at it, right? So it doesn't have to be an expert at everything, but the key activities, it has to be an expert. So do they have to be an expert in distribution channel, in customer relationship, right? Or in supply chain management, right? So for example, if you think of Airbnb, are they experts at hotel management? No. They're all experts at what? Actually, what are they experts at? Airbnb. Yeah, go ahead. What would they be expert at? Airbnb. So they don't own hotels. They don't own real estate, or very little. But yet they're one of the largest, provider of short-term rooms, houses, managing rental. Yeah, platform, right? Yeah. Putting people together. Yes. So there's the expertise in this is in platform management. They manage a platform. They have the trust from the customers, okay? But it's not in managing hotels, it's making the connections. Very good, Raghav. Excellent. They're an expert in making this connection between tenants and landlords, right? Great. Tenants or short-term tenants, because it's not like long-term, but yeah, very good. Excellent. So if we look, I'm just watching the time. On track, great. If we look here, right? So the key activities for Toyota, this is what I mentioned, is probably being an expert at safety testing, expert at R&D to make sure that your cars always embody or have the latest and the best technology, right? Or in manufacturing as well, to make sure that the processes are automated and are reliable, are efficient. So that would be the key activities, because for other things, they can have key partners. So the key partners here are the non-key activities that can be performed by suppliers, by other partners, so by other businesses, right? So they're important, but they're not core to the business itself, right? So they will help the business optimize operations and also reduce the risk, right? So that would be the key partner. So if we're talking about Airbnb, for example, you can have key partnerships with landlords, right? That would be one type of key partnerships here. Okay, and to finish on Toyota here, it can have key partnerships with suppliers of parts, that would be one, or with some dealers, automotive dealers, that would be some of the key partnerships. Is that okay for the left part of the business Canva? Okay, so let's look at the last, at the bottom. So at the bottom, we have the revenue. So the revenue streams, so it's how is the business going to make money, right? Because to operate, to maintain the business, of course, you need to generate some form of revenue. So what will be the revenue model and what will be the pricing tactics? So it's two things that are different, right? And of course, what I forgot to mention, this question is of course linked to the value that you offer to customers. The more value that you bring to the customers, the higher, of course, you would expect the revenues to be. So the revenue strategy here is, how do you capture this value? Are you going to capture it through direct sales? So here, direct sales it's a transaction. So you sell something and it's based on price. So you sell directly. You can have another model, like a freemium model. Have you heard, do you know what a freemium model is? Freemium, without looking at Wikipedia, on internet, at the same time as I'm asking you the question. What is a freemium? Kind of, all right? What is a freemium model? It's free and it's mium. So Ahad, can you turn on? Ahad, can you turn on your yes,
so
yes.
Yeah, so like this can be for apps where they provide the app free in the beginning, but then they charge like a service fee like every month. So that's what freemium is. So
Yeah,
they keep the
very good.
customers and they extract money from them over the long term.
Great. So they offer you something for free, and then for additional features, then they will charge you, right? So that would be a revenue strategy, or it can be through licensing, right? So they can be different revenue model. which is different from the pricing tactic, which is how much do you charge for your products and services. So you see, there could be different ways. Again, think of it for your case. Remember, as I said, I can't tell you enough. Remember the financials, remember the revenue, remember the cost. How are you going to make money, right? What revenue model will you use, right? Are you going to charge all customers directly one price, different? Or are you going to license your product and charge by how much the customer use your product or your service? Are you going to offer something for free and then charge for additional feature that will add more value to the customers? That would be your revenue strategy. And then how much are you going to charge for all of that, right? So remember all of that. Don't forget, please, because that could make a difference in the end. So here for Toyota, right, they have different sources of revenues. What do you think are those different sources of revenues? What do you think they are? Because there's at least two main ones, right? So when you own a car, I mean, what kind of, when do you pay money, right? So can you identify two revenue streams for Toyota? Yes, okay, great. Fantastic, good. Car sales and maintenance, good, that's all the main ones. Sales, I wouldn't say renovations, but maintenance, after sales maintenance. Great, very good, good. You could also say that you have some customers that will require, you know, special parts or you know, maybe some customization. So that could be another way to generate revenue. Huh? Okay, you're very good. And then the cost structure, the last one. So the key question is, what are the main costs and expenses? You know, how much is it going to cost to run the business? You want to understand the different types of cost. What is the most important cost and what is the most important key activities? The most obvious one, of course, that's the buildings, the machines, the people, right? But there might be other things that might be expensive, right? Depending on your business. Or it can be R&D as well. And one way to distinguish the cost is the fixed cost. Fixed costs are the costs that are fixed regardless of your size of operations and regardless of whether you operate or not. Variable costs are costs that are going to vary with the volume of production. All right, so here for Toyota, the primary cost will be research and development, manufacturing cost. That will be the main cost. Secondary costs will be marketing, or if you want to automation improvement, for example, that could be another one, right? So that could be another a range of different costs. I have added this. Have you seen this concept before? Economies of scale. Do you know what that is? Yes, I see one of you nodding. Who is nodding? What's your name? Guang Rong? Yes. Can you tell us, what is it? Where have you seen this? That's interesting.
Yeah, so I studied this in economics, and the idea is the more you produce, the lower the cost of production, and therefore the higher the profit margin.
Yes, very good. Excellent. So this here, so I've taken this from this graph from Investopedia. So I'm just mentioning it because that's a great source for anything that's related to finance. Sometimes they present economics concept. So I believe this is a very, very good source. I use it all the time, even to check concepts if I sometimes, you know, forget, or I use it all the time with my students. So this is the long run average cost curve, right? LRAC. So to produce one unit on average, how much does that cost? And as you see here, so on the horizontal axis, this is your output, so the quantity. And here on the vertical axis, this is the cost per unit. So if you've studied economics, you know that on the horizontal axis, this is the quantity, usually is here. And on the vertical axis, usually we have the dollar sign. So it can be the cost per unit, it can be the price, but here we have the cost per unit. And you see here, so as you increase your output, the average cost decreases. So this is where you have economies of scale. So it means that the bigger you are, then the less costly it becomes to produce on average 1 unit. When you reach this scale here, you have constant returns to scale. So you have no benefits of becoming bigger. And at some point, you have some diseconomies of scale, which means that becoming bigger is a disadvantage. Why do you have diseconomies of scale? Because sometimes it's coordination issues, communication issues, so it becomes more complicated to run your business. So you want to be here. You want to be here, like here. This is the minimum efficient scale here. Okay, so this is where you want to be. So just something to keep in mind in terms of size. Great, so summarizing our key principle here, before I give you a case study, we're still on track. Great, so summary, right? So your business model canvas will give you the key elements of any business model on one single sheet, right, of paper. You will have 9 building blocks divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections, right, middle, or middle, right, left, and bottom. And you can show the interrelationships between the different sections. And it represents the complete business model. Is it clear for everyone? Good? Great. So we're going to talk about TikTok. Who doesn't know? I mean, I guess you all know TikTok, right? You all know TikTok? Yes? If I know TikTok, you must know TikTok, right? All right. So TikTok is a few statistics. I had to research that, but over 2 billion downloads, more than 800 million active users. It's in 154 countries. That's quite amazing. 39 languages, remarkable growth. It's the highest social media engagement rate per post, right? So TikTok has 2 main types of customers, viewers and creators, right? Some argue that also advertisers, but I believe advertisers are more a type of partnerships than the type of customers. So what I would like you to do, and I will send you into breakout rooms. So write down viewers and creators. And I would like you to identify 2 things. And I'll give you maybe 7 minutes to discuss this in your groups. And I'll see how many of you are present, and I'll create the number of groups accordingly. I'd like to identify the value proposition, right? What does TikTok, what kind of value does it offer to viewers? And what kind of value does it offer to creators, right? So those 2 things, you just focus on the value proposition, not the whole business model canvas. So how many are you? You are 16, right? So 16, I will put you in 4 groups of 4. Is that okay? Yeah? And I will do it. So I will not click on the group, of course, and Carrie will not click on the groups. I will let them create automatically, okay? So you will be sent in a breakout room. You know how it works, right? You just have to click on the link, yeah? Yeah? So you click on the link, you go to the breakout room, and I will give you each group 7 minutes to identify the value proposition for both the viewers and the creators. And please make sure that everybody contributes. So you manage it the way you want, but remember what I've said. Is that all right? You ready? So let's go, and I'll see you in 7 minutes. Carrie, do you want to stop the recording? Okay. Good. What do you like it for? I mean, what kind of videos do you like?
Mostly for like entertainment purposes. Like I usually watch art related like TikToks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And the other team members, you knew what I was talking about, of course, huh?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, great. Good. The other teams have 2.5 minutes left. I'm just checking the time. And then we will continue. Good. So do you already have your team members, right, for the rest of the case later on?
Yeah.
Okay. How big is your team?
4 people.
4 people. Okay. Yeah? Yeah, 4 people.
My roommate is also in this case competition, so that's her voice in the breakout room.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. And the member in your teams, are they members from the same high school?
Yes, we're all in a boarding school.
Okay. Good.
Yes.
Very good. I'm checking the time. They have 1 minute left almost. You've been super, super fast. Yeah. So how are you going to organize yourself next week when you have just 48 hours to crack the case? What are you going to do? Not sleep. Because it is intense, right?
Yeah.
It is very intense. Hang on, I will tell them you have 1 minute left. Okay, good. And then so you'll have then some time to present. Is one of you going to present next week, you think?
Yeah.
Or is everybody going to present? What have you decided in your team?
For us, I think we're all gonna present for my group.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, good. Good. That's 30 seconds. Okay, I'm just going to close the rooms because it will take them time to come back because they have 60 seconds after you close the rooms. So we should expect everybody back soon. Do you want to start by giving the group your answers since you finished first? Is that okay? I'm going to ask everybody to type the answers, but then maybe one of you can then share her answer with the group's answer with the rest, okay? Good, hello, welcome back everyone. Welcome back. We're still waiting for a few more people to come. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Hello, hi Thomas, hi Gustavo. Hello, welcome back. Hang on, there's still more seconds. 10, 7, okay. All right, everybody should be back now in 2 seconds. Great. Fantastic, good. Welcome back everyone. All right, so I would like you, before I give the floor to one group, let's focus on the viewers. Can you just share, each one of you, 1 or 2 value? What's the value proposition of TikTok for the viewers? What do you think it is? Entertainment and inspiration, yeah. What else? Engagement, yeah. Viewer creator interaction. Learning skills, a stream of content that's uniquely tailored to your interest, to what you like, acquisition of skills. Great. Good. Also, maybe it's a bit addictive as well. I don't know if it's a value, right? But it is addictive. Yeah. Thomas, you want to say something? No? No. Okay. All right. Community of common interest. Very good. Offline connection, TikTok topics, acquisition of skills. Great. It's also, yeah, friendly because you see people like authentic version of themselves, right? It's less polished than Instagram, for example, right? Okay, great, very good. You nailed it for the first one. The second one, maybe Alina from the first group, because they finished first. What kind of value does TikTok offer to creators?
I think it's more of a platform where you can express your like creative expression, I guess. And you can build up a platform, and once you build it up, you can start earning money off of it.
Yes, okay, yeah. So you express yourself, you can make money of it. Good. Anything else from the other groups? Who wants to take the mic here? Who else wants to share something?
So also we came up that it could be a source of income through sponsorship and collaboration with like different companies.
Okay, good. What else in terms of value? Yes, Raghav.
Another thing we came up with was that it's more of a three-party system. So it's not viewers, creators. There's also like four-party actually, viewers, creators, TikTok, and advertisers as well.
Yes,
because that's
okay.
the way TikTok is making money. So they're offering the advertisers a platform where they already have like 800 million users.
Yeah, okay, good. Anything else about the creators? Yes, Thomas.
Like as you've already mentioned, it's a lot more unpolished than forms of like YouTube or Instagram, and because it's unpolished, it's easy to get going. Comparatively easier than like a lot of its competitors would be, because it's easy to start.
Exactly. So the technical term would be there's low barriers to entry. So barriers to entry is how difficult it is to enter, basically. So to start, right? Because you can have 0 followers and still your video can go viral, which is not the case for Instagram. You can't go, you know, so with TikTok, that's possible, right? So you can be discovered organically, even if you don't have many followers. Okay. Anything else? One of you last points for TikTok? Yes. Sirat.
So one point for creators that it's easy and fast content creation. They have access to like visual effects and music, and that too for free.
Yes. So there's this powerful like editor, right? Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. One or two last thing? Yeah.
It is a platform for trend setting as well.
For trend setting. Okay, good.
Yeah,
so you
because
can, if
viewers also download TikTok to follow up on latest trends, what is going on in the music industry, and keep up.
So for trends, yes, for trends. Okay, excellent. Anything else? And do you have to be very creative to be on TikTok? Even to have, you know, some videos go viral? Yes or no? What do you think? Yeah, you all. What do you have? Ahad, what are you saying? You're just like, no. What do you think, Ahad? You want to turn on your mic?
I think on TikTok, if you want to go viral, you have to look good.
Okay.
Is basically what happens. If I'm being brutally honest.
Okay.
That's just the way it's structured. You can go dance and get like 1 million views, while someone puts like 20 hours of effort into a video about markets, they're not going to get any views. So I think that's what the breakdown is.
Okay, it's a pretty fair assessment. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Right, so I think you answered, you know, very well. I don't think I've got much to add in terms of your comments. That was very good. And if you're ready, I'm just going to go back to, if you're ready, then we can move on to the next part. Are you ready? Yes, all of you? So let's go now to the last part of today's session, which is the value proposition canvas. So the value proposition canvas, as you see here, can you see the top here? So you see here, I'm just going to, you see this is the value proposition. This is what you have on the left. And on the right, you have the customer segments, right? So this is a tool that you can use. And by the way, I mentioned the website earlier here. You can go to this website and you can download the templates. I know it's in your workbook for today, but you can also go to the website and download the templates for free. Yeah? So if you want to use it later on for your case, for example, that's just an idea, you can do that. So here we're going to go deeper into the value proposition canvas. So it's a tool to visualize and test how a business creates values for customers. So it will complement, as I said, the business model canvas. So who can use it? Same as before. It's for both existing and new businesses. And what is really great is that basically it will test. If you go back here, you see here, you need to have a fit between the customer segments, right? What's the customer job? What is the gains and what do they want to avoid? And the value proposition, right? So is there a fit between both? That's the key here, right? So that's what you want to identify. So to understand customers, I've added one more thing for you, right? I told you I've just added a few things, but I believe this is going to be very useful for you. It's the persona. So the persona is a way to understand who are your main types of customers, right? Who are they? What do they want? What's important to them? What motivates them? What are their aspirations? What's their behavior? How do they make decisions? And so on and so forth. So you want to understand them and you want to have a visual way to express that. That's a persona, right? So you will identify the important elements. You will also be able to evaluate what are those main criteria. It's a way to communicate as well around that. So this is like snapshots I've taken from the internet. So this is a persona, right? So of course her name is not Kyla, right? It's just, she represents a type of customer who is around 25 to 35 years old, who has this type of income, you know, who is relatively tech savvy. So in terms of influencer, this is the type of events that, you know, she will be interested in, what motivates her, what are her needs, what are the pain points. This is another way to present a persona here. See, it's a little bit longer, it's a bit more sophisticated. And another way also, you see, to present a journey. So you have the event, how the person feels, the information needed. So you have a different way to present this, right? So I've looked and I would like to share with you a resource that I've identified here where you can download for free. Of course, you have to give your contact information, but that's pretty much for every website that provides things for free. You know, that might be the freemium model. I offer you a few things for free, but then if you want something extra, you have to pay. So here, you see, you have different templates. So it's on the website, Extensio. So if you want to use that for your case, right, you can see for traveler persona, developer persona, interior designer, customer support. So you have a range of type of persona. You have the template, and then you can fill it in with your content if you want. So that's kind of a nice tool. And they have quite a range of prestigious clients, Extensio. So quite nice, huh? And you have other sources of templates as well, huh? So that's an idea for you if you want to present your personas in a nice way, in a professional manner, right? So this is something that for a lot of projects we do, because again, that's very visual. That helps you to crystallize and to identify what are the core elements, what are the things that you need to focus on, and to synthesize all the information that you have. So I highly recommend the use of persona if that's relevant for your project. By the way, I don't know the, the topic of your case. Huh? I'm just saying that it can be useful in a lot of different topics, right? So let's go back to the value proposition canvas, and let's focus, like zoom in the customer segment, right? So the first, there's a sequence as well, like you have for the business model canvas, there is a sequence. The first thing that you need to identify is the customer jobs, right? So what is the job that the customer is trying to get done? And it can be functional, and I'll explain in a minute what does that mean. It can be social or it can be emotional. What are the pains that the customer is trying to avoid as well with regard to the products and services that you offer? And what is the measure of success? What are the gains that your customer will expect from your products and services? So I'm going to use the example of Tesla. And by the way, I'm just going to go down and you will see that you can find the video here on Vimeo, and it's presented by the founder, the person who created the business model canvas and this model as well. And I've just given you the link. So if you want to see the whole video after this session, you can do that. So he uses Tesla, and basically he identifies, in terms of jobs to be done, he identifies a number of things that can be divided into functional jobs, which is, with the Tesla, they want to commute to work. That's very functional. It's maybe for personal mobility, or it can be the occasional long distance trip. That's functional. It can be a social job as well, to maybe convey an image of success. You own a Tesla, it's prestigious. Or you can be different from others. That's also a social job. Or it can be an emotional job. And that's the last point here, which to be in sync, you know, align with your personal value. Maybe my personal value, I believe in, you know, having a low carbon footprint, so a green car, or I want to have a certain status that also might be in line with my personal value. So that's the job that the Tesla will perform. Now, in terms of the pain, right, the negative outcomes that the customer wants to avoid. So what would be valid for all cars would be to avoid accidents and harm. You want to avoid a car that has bad driving behavior, right? That is not reliable. That would be another one. You don't want to pay, you know, here above average maintenance fees would be another one. Or you don't want to buy before you have a price drop, valid across the board, right? Something that's more specific to Tesla, you don't want to have a fear of a dead battery, right? You don't want to have to frequently charging your car. You don't want to have a lack of space as well. You don't want to have your aircon that's draining the battery. You don't want to face a lack of charging station, and you don't want to be laughed at, you know, by your friends. So people say, hey, he has a Tesla, he ran out of battery and is by the side of the road, right? So that's kind of the pains that you would like to avoid. Now, in terms of gains, right? So you have some gains that are valid for all cars. You want high safety ratings. Where is that? High safety ratings. So you want to have high safety. I think this is, I can't see, here, up in the middle, here. You want to have seat capacity, here, right? You want to have a good GPS system to know where you are and where you are heading, here, find my way, here. Valid for Tesla cars. You want to have maybe a car that performs like a sports car, right? Maybe you want to have compliments from friends. You want to have a range that is sufficient for you to go at least 250 kilometers. Maybe you might want to have self-driving. You want to have brand recognitions, some cool designs. So this is the kind of things that you want to get from your Tesla car. So far, okay? Yeah, good. I'm just watching the time. We have just 15 minutes left. So I just want to get through the end of this example because I think this is really, it can be really important for you for your case. So that's basically how you would present it if you were to do it for real case. And as you can see here, you see that, you'll see in the video, he uses Post-its, right? And that's kind of the way, that's the best practice. If you were in the room together, you would brainstorm and you would, you know, use Post-its, one idea per Post-it, and it's color-coded. So you use a different color for the different Post-it. And then the next stage is that you rank your ideas. First idea, second idea. So with Post-its, it's flexible because it allows you to put the first one, second one, third one, to rank them quite easily. So that's kind of the interactive way to do that. And by the way, if you want, there's a tool on, it's called Miro. Have you used Miro? So you can have a look. It's that you can use interactive tool where when you have a virtual team, that's one of the tools, you know, that you can use for your team, when you can virtually use Post-its as well. So I don't know if it's free of charge or you have to pay, so if you have a freemium model or not, but that's something that you can use to do that. Okay, let's look at the second part, the value proposition, right? So here, it will explain how your business products and services will relieve pain and create gains, right? So you start here with how, so for Tesla, for example, here, what are the products or services? So we're focusing on the Model S. So what's the battery? What's the warranty? What are the different stations? And also, is there a network of charging stations to make sure that, of course, you don't run out of battery as you go? In terms of pain relievers, right? Well, you have the range, right? The range is quite significant. You have high safety standards. So NHTSA is the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. And Tesla has one of the highest rating in terms of safety. So it's definitely a pain reliever here. And in terms of space, 5 adult seats, 2 for children, quite good as well. It performs really well. And last but not least, the game creators, right? So in terms of performance, it can go to 100, up to 100 kilometers quite fast, 4.4 seconds. It focuses on design and style and, you know, high-tech feel. I've never been into a Tesla, but I've been told it's like being on an airplane, right? It's super sophisticated, it's super cool. And it has this feeling of, you know, being, you know, luxury, right? All right, so this is how you would have, what's the value proposition? So this is a screenshot of the video. So you have also a video that you can watch afterwards. And basically what you want to have here is a fit between those two, between the value proposition and the customer segment. And this is a picture of the creator. I wanted to include it in the presentation so that, you know, you can see what it looks like. And I would recommend to have, you know, a look at the website here. And this video it has longer videos that are very interesting and that would help you deepen your understanding maybe before next week. So if I summarize, today we've discussed how to work on a remote team, what is the business model canvas? What are the different sections of the business model canvas? We've looked at different case studies. We've looked at Toyotas. We've looked at, Toyota mainly, and then TikTok. And then we've looked at the value proposition canvas that complements the business model canvas. And I've added the personas and how you could use personas for your case cracking. And then we've looked at Tesla and how to use the value proposition canvas. Okay, and we have 7 minutes for Q&A before I leave the floor to Carrie and some additional information. Questions? I'm here to answer any questions you might have. I'm listening. Go ahead. Questions? Rahad, you wanted to say no? Hello. So let me ask you a question. Out of all those different tools, the ones that we've seen after working on a remote team, what is the one that you find most valuable for you? What is the most valuable tool for you that you think you could use in one of your upcoming cases? Okay. Amy, Zhu, what did you like about the value proposition?
I like it because it actually summarizes what customers and the customers and the sellers would want to see and want to sell. Mm-hmm. So we need to consider both sides in order to come up with a plan that will best satisfy both sides.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Good, great. And also be careful when you think, something I forgot to mention, but when you talk about the customer, who is going to consume your product, right? It's not always the same person who consumes, the customer and the person who pays for the service. Okay, that's maybe a nuance, but like when we go to a toy shop, my son is 6 years old, right? And he's the customer, I'm the one who pays, right? So be careful, you know, who you are addressing, who are your customer. It's not always the same person as the person who pays. Just a little nuance, but that's something to consider maybe for your case, I don't know. All right. Another question. So let's see what you answered. So Gustavo, the business model canvas. Tell us, Gustavo. What did you like about it?
Well, I've already seen it before in a business program. And well, it helps like identifying like maybe the strengths and weaknesses in the business, you know, and what we need to do to maybe get better.
Yeah, very good. Yes, what you can improve. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. We have try one wrong. Think about it. Where are you?
Hi, sorry about that.
Yes, hi, no problem. Tell us more.
I think it gives you an idea about what the executives are looking for, because it allows you to understand the company from a deeper level. So from the operation side, what their key strengths are. I think that for case competition, that can really help you understand what you're looking for example, in the expansion strategy. So I think it's very useful in that sense.
And to focus on the value, okay? Remember to always focus on the value that you will deliver, okay? Okay. What problem do you solve? What need do you meet? Okay, that's also something that's really important to consider. Maybe one or two more. So we have Theo, the value proposition. Talking about value. Where are you, Theo?
Yeah.
Hi, Theo. Yes.
So about that, I have a question about it. Like, how long would you recommend us like speaking about the whole business model canvas? Because as you know, we obviously have 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
So when we're talking about the finance and everything, so how long would you recommend?
And by the way, I don't know the case, huh? So that's one thing. And maybe the whole, you don't have to present the whole business canvas. Maybe that will not be the tool that will be, you know, to present overall. What I think, if I can give you a recommendation, what I think is really critical and what this canvas can help you with is what the questions you're going to ask, right? So be very careful at the beginning of your case is, what are the key questions that I need to ask? And that will guide your research. And what is the main issue and what are the sub-issues? You've probably seen this, you know, in other business courses, but the questions you ask will guide your answers. So by looking at a canvas, it's also a way of reminding you of all the big picture and to focus on what's important and to consider all types of questions and to say, okay, maybe I need to focus on my customers. Maybe I need to focus on my distribution channels, or maybe, so to be able to view everything and to make sure that you cover everything at the beginning. Maybe you'll have to zoom into one or two specific things, but at least you're not pushing away one of the key elements that you could potentially make a difference. Okay, so that's a big picture, and at the same time that helps you to make sure that you take, at the beginning of your project, you take everything into account. Does that answer your question, Theo?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Good. One more person. Okay, one more. Tarushi.
Yeah.
Where are you? Hello.
Yeah. I really like the business model canvas because I found that for the regionals, when we were going into it, it was kind of easy to get lost in the intricacies of all of it and just kind of like zooming out and just getting a good idea of the big picture and going into it knowing that you have to frame your thinking around like the value propositions. I think that's really helpful and something that will definitely use for the next rounds as well.
I think Marie might be frozen. I think we have an internet frozen. Yeah, it's really amazing, right? Because there's so many different like business models, and there's so many different ways that you can frame a problem. And it's not that one is going to be your number one solution, right? It's not that it's going to be your only one. But these are different models that can help get your mind going and, you know, make sure that you're not missing different things, that you're taking into consideration different aspects all at the same time. I think you froze there for a moment, Marie.
Yes,
but
thank you for taking over.
Right, I'm in for a pinch hitter. Here we go. I got it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carrie. Well, I guess, you know, this is 5 minutes before the end, so I'll leave the floor to Carrie. It's great because it's perfect timing with my connection getting, you know, a little shaky. So
amazing.
Go ahead, Carrie.
Well, thank you so much, Marie. If everybody wants to, you know, give Marie an amazing applause. That was so fantastic. And I don't know about you guys, but it's definitely, you know, one of the workshops I've enjoyed the most because I got to see all of your faces. And I think that we have some people.
Yes.
Yeah, I think some people it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Is that those of you that are in America and Latin America? Are we yeah, Gustavo?
Fantastic.
I see Gustavo actually logged in like 40 minutes before the session even started. So serious commitment here, guys. Absolutely love it. How is everyone going? Are we really excited? We've got one more workshop left. So Pablo's Excel 101 workshop. So that's really exciting. Before all of the global teams go head to head next week. So yeah, it's very, very exciting. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I've been meeting with all of the global judges. They're absolutely fantastic, working, you know, in secrecy with the case. So I do know what the case is, but I don't let anybody else know because then, you know, if they slip and they didn't mean to, you know, so it's just not fair. So we just keep it under close wraps, but it's going to be very, very exciting. I'll tell you that. So thank you so much for coming today, guys. Thanks for making a sacrifice up in the middle of the night. Hope everybody really enjoyed it.
Thank you to all of you for being here.
Yes, thank you, guys. And a big congrats to everybody for making it this far. So do your best. I probably won't get to see everybody in such a small setting before the global finals, but good luck, everybody. I'll be hosting the global finals for Region 1.
Good luck. Thank you for your kind messages that you've been sending me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing. Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank
Everybody
you.
have a great evening. Good luck.
And good luck. Good luck for next week.
Thank you so much.
Merci.
Thank you so much.
Français.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.